The PCB for Dead by Daylight's 10th anniversary patch has finally arrived, and while Jason is without a doubt the centerfold of this patch, there are thankfully 3 new Survivor perks being released as well. The original Survivor these perks are tied to will remain a mystery until further information is released. However, I've seen less talk about the missing Survivor themselves, and more talk about how strong these 3 perks are. Of the 3 new Survivor perks, the one that's received the most attention is Wide Open Throttle. While I certainly understand why this perk in particular has received a lot of attention, this perk is not all that good compared to the other new ones, at least in my opinion. In fact, of the 3 new perks, the one that I find to be the strongest and most fun to use is Cross-Examination. This perk is so strong and thrilling to use that I cannot emphasize enough how much this perk will undoubtedly become a major pain point for killers if it receives no further changes. To put it bluntly, anyone who is sleeping on this perk better wake up. Here's how cross-examination currently functions as of the PCB for patch 10.0. While in the killer's tear radius, they leave light marks that last for 10 seconds that you can see. While on the killer's light marks, you gain elusive. This ends after 5 seconds. When I first read about what this perk does, I was genuinely impressed and shocked that this kind of perk would be created. At its core, cross-examination is so strong because it's centered around the elusive status effect. For those unaware, elusive is still a relatively new Survivor status effect that provides the following benefits. Ores are hidden, leave no scratch marks, leave no pools of blood, and make no grunts of pain. Up until this PTB, there were only 3 other perks that granted elusive in some way, but with cross-examination now existing, a full loadout of elusive perks is now possible. But a full loadout of elusive perks is not a necessity, as cross-examination is insanely strong all on its own. I have previously warned about the chaos that elusive can bring to even standard DBD matches, as the status effect itself is incredibly strong in the right hands. Furthermore, there are also some killers who can be more negatively impacted by elusive. Killers like Spirit or Henry are the first examples that come to mind. In short, the reason why elusive is so dangerous is because it allows almost any survivor to remain hidden or stealthy with virtually no way for a killer to locate them. And if elusive is ever activated during a chase, it will make chasing a survivor a huge challenge. So with how dangerous elusive can be, what makes cross-examination so intimidating? The way cross-examination currently functions is very scary, as it can completely upend a chase that just started in a matter of seconds. This is all because in a standard chase where a survivor is looping something, there's a very good chance that the survivor will trace the same steps that the killer takes, thus running over the killer's light marks. And as long as the killer has a tear radius active, the survivor will easily be granted elusive, and thus allowing them to either keep looping or simply run away from the loop and lose the killer entirely. Cross-examination is best used at loops or maze tiles that contain high walls that block line of sight, as the killer will have a weaker chance of locating the survivor and keeping the chase. And while leaving 0 scratch marks as a healthy survivor is certainly strong, this perk is even more beneficial if a survivor is injured. Leaving 0 scratch marks in combination with making no grunts of pain or pools of blood makes the chase become absolutely hellish for a killer. On top of all this, having aura reading be completely blocked as well makes an injured survivor go from an easy target to a snake in the grass. And all of this is before even considering other supplementary tools that a survivor can utilize. For example, blinding the killer to pallet or while they vault a window is almost a guaranteed way to escape the killer, as they will have no way of tracking you for a few moments. But there's something else about cross-examination that makes it crazy strong. While playing this PTB, I realized that for some strange reason, anytime a killer would lunge attack into me, I would gain elusive for 5 seconds. To be clear, this happened even when I was not following a killer's light marks. In other words, without any looping or tracing the killer's light marks, elusive can be granted simply for being hit with a basic lunge attack. And here's a few examples of what I'm referring to exactly. So as you can see, I have not traced over any light marks by the Jason here. He just spawned in. Still haven't traced any light marks. He's gonna lunge attack, and I gained elusive right there. In this one, I'm just sitting on a gen. Jason went into his stealth attack mode thing. Still waiting for him to appear. Now he just appeared. He's gonna lunge attack. I gained elusive. Did not trace any of his light marks yet. That was not possible to do. And this one, he is going to appear, I believe. Yep, another Jason attack here. Gotta say, I really love how Jason brought back the actual foggy atmosphere in this game, because that was a long forgotten thing, it seemed like, but that's a whole other thing to talk about. He appears, and I vault this window, get elusive. There was no tracing of any light marks there as well. So 3 examples of gaining elusive by doing nothing. This most likely happens because when the killer lunges forward, the killer's light marks are temporarily within the acceptable radius of the survivor, thus allowing cross-examination to activate and for elusive to be granted. The problem with this, of course, is that it allows the survivor 5 seconds to run wherever they want after getting hit with a basic attack, all while the survivor didn't do much of anything to earn elusive. In classic DBD fashion, I have to assume this is either an oversight or an unintended bonus feature of the perk, as this basically provides a survivor a guaranteed 5 seconds of elusive anytime they get hit with a basic attack. This is a really random way for this perk to activate, so if anything about this perk needs to be changed, it's most definitely this. And while cross-examination has proven to be quite powerful thus far, it's very important to note that this perk is completely countered by a killer having 0 tear radius. Whether a killer is undetectable or if a survivor is oblivious, both of these status effects completely eliminate this perk from ever being activated. In addition to this, elusive itself is also counterable by having some sort of way to cause survivors to scream or to reveal them with killer instinct. Other than that though, a killer is borderline helpless if they are blinded mid-chase with elusive activated. Overall, cross-examination is very strong, and I am fully expecting this perk to receive some sort of change before this perk goes to the live servers. As of this recording though, I'm not sure what the best way to balance this perk would be, but I absolutely believe that some sort of limitation needs to be added. This perk is essentially a get out of jail free card to some extent, which is super unfortunate because the idea of this perk is very fun. I personally don't want to see a unique perk like this be slashed because it's too easy to use, so if there's some sort of way to require the perk to involve more skill expression, that would be a step in a much healthier direction. But that's about it though when it comes to cross-examination as it stands right now. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed using this perk in the PTB, but I also understand it is deserving of a slight nerf of some kind. Feel free to subscribe for more videos and leave a like if you enjoyed this one. That's all I have for now though. Thanks for watching.